this time, I'm going to invite Dr. Caper back to the podium.
Thank you. I would now like to introduce the officers of the class of 2018. First, Sai Krishna Gorishetty, Sarah Michelle Chang, Priya Patel, Jennifer Bai. Please join me on stage. Thank you for all that you have done for your class throughout these years of medical schools. Now, I will invite Sai to address his class. Sai Gorishetty will now present a number of faculty awards and then address the class. Sai will complete his residency in otorhinolaryngology at the University of Maryland Medical Center in Baltimore, Maryland. Sai, the floor is yours.
For full disclosure, let me just start by saying, Dr. Urbaski, I was fighting tears the entire time. I kept it together because I knew the cameras were going to be bright. I was like, you know what? For my parents, I got to keep it together. But can we please give Dr. Urbaski another huge round of applause? Next, it's truly an honor to present the teaching awards to some of our really beloved faculty members. First, I'd like to present the Golden Apple Award for the preclinical years to my mentor, Dr. Devang Patel. Sorry, Devang Patel. Our next award for the Golden Apple for the clinical years goes to Dr. David Gens. Next, I'd like to present the Student Council Faculty Awards, starting with Dr. Adam Pouchet. Next, I'd like to present the award to Dr. Nevins Todd, who unfortunately couldn't be here today since he's at his daughter's graduation, which I think is a pretty valid reason. Can we please give him a round of applause? Our next award goes to Dr. Laura Buchanan. And our last award goes to one of our most beloved, Dr. Philip Dittmar. Next, before I get to my remarks, I want to start by thanking all of my amazing classmates that are in front of me today for allowing me to really be one of their collective voices on our class council. It has truly, truly been an honor. Can we please give my entire class a huge round of applause? On your behalf, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the many incredible individuals at the University of Maryland School of Medicine and Medical Center who have helped us tremendously to reach this milestone. As someone that grew up just 10 minutes from Walden Pond, I'd like to quote the late Ralph Waldo Emerson, who famously said, and I quote, "It is important to cultivate the habit of being grateful for every good thing that comes to you, and to give thanks continuously. And because all things have contributed to your advancement, you should include all things in your gratitude." As a quick aside, I had no idea Dean Reese was going to quote Ralph Waldo Emerson. But I will say Dean Reese taught me that the importance of using a really, really powerful quote. So I thank you, Dean Reese, for that. In my attempt to include everyone, hopefully there isn't music ready to usher me off stage similar to the Oscars. As a quick disclaimer, please excuse me if I leave out any names. That is not intentional by any means. I'd like to go in chronological order through our 4 years of medical school, but before I do that, I'd like to thank Dr. Foxwell, Dr. Kazada, Rashana Kareem, Kathy Alacio, Tawanda Skies, Brandy Vinson, Marion Jones, and the Office of Admissions for believing in us and giving us this incredible opportunity. As the first physician in my family, I'm forever, forever grateful. Starting with our first class, Structure and Development, commonly known as Anatomy, I'd like to thank the course director, Dr. Boucher, and the administrator, Leslie Ann Fitzpatrick. You were instrumental in building our foundation while helping students adjust to the rigor of medical school. It is still amazing to me that we were able to learn over 2,500 structures and concepts in just 10 weeks. For cell and molecular biology, I'd like to thank the course directors, Dr. Thompson, Dr. Blitzer, Dr. Steinley, and the administrator, Kula Cosmo. You taught us the importance of understanding how mechanisms are interconnected, and I will always have porphyrias on my differential for the rest of my career. For functional systems, commonly known as physiology, I'd like to thank the course leaders, Dr. Madison, Dr. Fantry, Dr. Weir, Dr. McLenathan, Dr. Shea Donahue, Dr. Menley, and Dr. Todd. You taught us the importance of learning how and why things occur in the body using critical thinking rather than simple rote memorization. For neuroscience, I'd like to thank the course director, Dr. Azurmalu, for guiding us as we tried to make sense of an extremely complex topic. As we completed our first year of medical school, many of us conducted research the following summer. This summer was made possible with the tremendous help from the Office of Student Research at the School of Medicine and amazing research mentors. In the Office of Student Research, I'd like to thank Dr. Madison, Dr. Fantry, Dr. Carey, Dr. Tom, and Chi Chow. Through my research that summer with incredible faculty mentors, I knew ENT was my calling. For that, I am forever grateful. Our second year of medical school began with Foundations of Disease. I'd like to thank the course directors, Dr. Yaffe, and the administrator, G. Marie Roth. You helped lay the foundation for our understanding of pathology and disease processes. For host defenses and infectious diseases, I'd like to thank the course leaders, Dr. Schultz, Dr. Patel, Dr. Carbonetti, Dr. Mudgil, Dr. Saki, Dr. Smalljohn, and the administrators, Mona Kyriakos and Terry Robinson. You taught us how to think critically about the appropriate use of antibiotics, which is something that will be increasingly more important as we make our ways through our careers. Also, when I was infected with cholera a few months ago in India, I remember learning in your class that the first line treatment is oral rehydration salts. And I'm here to tell you that stuff really, really works. For pathophysiology and therapeutics, I'd like to thank the course leaders, Dr. Fantry, Dr. Robinson, Dr. Patil, Dr. Sauceville, Dr. Randall, Dr. Deepak, Dr. Hines, Dr. Doyon, Dr. Twiddell, Dr. Tulis, Dr. Malik, Dr. Rao, Dr. Sanchez, Dr. Hackman, Dr. Light, Dr. Flores, and the course administrator, G. Marie Roth. It is still amazing to think back at how much we were able to learn in such a short period of time, although in the moment, time seemed to go very, very slowly. In addition to learning the science of medicine, we learned the art of medicine at the bedside and the importance of helping the communities that we serve through the introduction to clinical medicine courses. I'd like to thank the course leaders, Dr. Retner, Dr. Wolfstall, Dr. Dittmar, Dr. Milstein, Angie Battaglia, and the administrators, Sarah Sandiford, Jennifer Nunez, and Jennifer Carrion. In addition to the course leaders and administrators, I want to thank the hundreds of faculty mentors and faculty members who took the time to give amazing lectures, lead small group discussions, and teach students in the Introduction to Clinical Medicine courses. Your passion for teaching is truly inspiring. Can we please give them a big round of applause? Additionally, the first 2 years of medical school would not have been possible without the true MVPs at the School of Medicine. I'd like to thank Ronnie, Alan, comrades John, Paul, and Priyanka in the IT department, as well as Ursula, John, and Jerry at Medscope. They ensured that we had the right tools to aid our learning and were there to help anytime, even on the weekends. Moving into the clinical years for core surgery, I'd like to thank the course director, Dr. Strauss, and the administrators, Pamela Griffin, Shannon Horn, Sarah Kidd Romero. For core medicine, I'd like to thank the course director, Dr. Dittmar, and the administrator, Therese Jackson. For family medicine, the course director, Dr. Colgan, and the administrator, Denise Estes. For neurology, the course director, Dr. Sanchez and Andrea Everett. For OBGYN, the course directors, Dr. Rao and the administrator, Carrie Allen. For pediatrics, the course director, Dr. Carter and the administrator, Karen Webster. For psychiatry, the course director, Dr. LeCap and the administrator, Brendella Hawkins. With your collective help and guidance, we were able to take our book knowledge and become budding clinicians. The transformation in our clinical acumen over the past 2 years has been truly remarkable. I'd like to thank all of the attending physicians, residents, nurses, and hospital staff at the University of Maryland Medical Center and all the other affiliated hospitals that we rotated at throughout our 2 years. Your hard work and passion for the humanistic care of patients is truly inspiring. You were all amazing role models for us as students, and for that we'll be forever grateful. Can we please give all of them a big round of applause? Next, I'd like to give a special thank you to everyone in the Office of Student Affairs, which includes Dr. Parker, Dr. Freja, Dr. Martinez, Dr. Lemos, Don Roberts, Sarah Menso, Sonia Beasley, Tammy Van Dam, Ashley Crawford, Aline Zaringa, and Rada Gatch, and the Office of Medical Education, which includes Dr. Malat, Dr. Dolan, Ms. Llewellyn, Donna Reynolds, Mr. Brown, and Jean Marie Roth. From the very first day, each of you have gone above and beyond to ensure our success and have always been there for us. Even when we doubted ourselves in moments of crisis, you always provided the assurance and motivation that we desperately needed. We would not have been able to go through this journey without you. Can we please give them a big round of applause? The entire University of Maryland School of Medicine and Medical Center communities have played integral roles in our development as the next generation of physicians and have given us the tools to have an incredible impact on our communities. To highlight how far we've come from our first day of medical school, I'd like to share a story of my classmate, Carly Benton. Carly attended a Maryland basketball game this past season to cheer on the Terrapins as a proud University of Maryland alum. As she was walking through the stands, she heard someone calling for a doctor. She quickly volunteered to help and found an elderly gentleman in arrest on the floor with no one performing CPR. She immediately took control of the situation, began performing chest compressions, and called for an automated external defibrillator, commonly known as an AED. The AED was applied, a shock was delivered with subsequent return of spontaneous circulation. When the paramedics arrived, the gentleman was moaning while performing voluntary movements. Carly credits the excellent training and teaching she received here at Maryland for helping her keep a cool head and handle the situation. Carly, I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but can you please stand for a warm round of applause? I encourage each and every one of you to remember Carly's experience when called upon to help in the middle of the night as an intern or during your daily lives outside of the hospital, to use what we've learned at this great institution with courage and confidence. With the tools that we've been given, it is our responsibility to pave the way forward for others and to continue to have a positive impact in our communities. Lastly, I'd like to thank all the parents, the siblings, extended family members, and friends for being there for us every step of the way. I truly mean this from the bottom of my heart when I say that this journey would not have been possible without your support, encouragement, and sacrifice. Today isn't just about us, it's a celebration of each and every one of you as well, and I want to say thank you to each and every one of you. Lastly, to my wonderful parents that are sitting right there, happy anniversary. Today is your 29th anniversary, which is absolutely incredible. Lastly, Mom, I know it was your dream to be a doctor, so I'm here to say we made it. And class of 2018, we're finally doctors. Let's go. Next, it's my privilege to introduce, as I mentioned, one of my mentors, Dr. Devang Patel. He was chosen by all of my classmates to be the student speaker at this event. Dr. Patel graduated from the Medical College of Virginia and subsequently completed the combined internal medicine and pediatrics residency here at the University of Maryland Medical Center. After his residency, he stayed at Maryland to complete a fellowship in infectious diseases. He subsequently joined the faculty here and has played an integral role in medical education in both the preclinical and the clinical settings. His passion and dedication for teaching is truly remarkable, and I really look forward to learning from you for the years to come. Dr. Patel and I welcome you to address the class of 2018.
So, as a proud alumnus of the University of Virginia, I was not expecting the dean to do that. And to add insult to injury, perhaps the greatest inspirational commencement speech I've ever heard from Dr. Rabowski, and I have to follow that. So, I'm going to try. So good morning, class of 2018. Thank you so much for giving me this honor of addressing you on this very special day. You know, as a speaker selected by the students, as a faculty speaker, I think it's usually our job to give you advice that will serve you well in the years to come. And I think about that, and I see all the faculty behind me. I see my colleagues sitting in the audience there. You've spent countless hours with all these folks, and I'm supposed to tell you something special today. So I went to two people that I respect a great deal, have a lot of insight, and I said to them, what would you tell these medical students on the day of their graduation? So I went to my 5-year-old daughter, and she said to me, tell them they should help people. Sounded very reasonable. Not to be outdone, my 3-year-old son said, tell them to be nice to everyone. And so I think that kind of says it all. But I think I have a few more minutes that I have to fill, so I'm going to try to expand on that a little bit. I was thinking about what I was going to say to you today when I read this week's blog post from Paul Sachs. He does a blog in the New England Journal of Medicine. Paul Sachs, Dr. Sachs, is a prominent HIV physician at Harvard. And you know, he wrote this post this week about a couple of his colleagues that were retiring from practicing clinical medicine. And the overwhelming thread throughout his stories was that folks felt that they were really dissatisfied with the way that they were moved away from patient care. And so he talked to one of his colleagues, Dr. Joel Gallant, who is also a very prominent physician in infectious diseases, and particularly a giant in HIV over the last 20 years. And he recounted this story. This is Paul Sachs. He told me recently that in the last month of his practice, he met with an administrator to review his office notes for compliance reasons. He was criticized for not counseling his patients about smoking cessation. When Joel pointed to the paragraph in his narrative note that discussed this very topic, he was told, yes, but you didn't click the 3 required boxes, so it didn't count. It's funny, but it's also very depressing. You know, and I thought about this because I thought this little interaction actually spoke to a bigger, it was a metaphor for a bigger way in which we have lost the importance of the narrative. We're so fixated on checking the boxes that sometimes we forget the patient's story. What's their narrative? Surely there must be more to them than a room number, an x-ray, a pathology slide, a diagnosis written on a whiteboard in your team room. When you applied to medical school, you were asked, why do you want to be a doctor? Every one of you wrote some variation of what my daughter said, right? You said, I want to help people. You said it in a way that you thought wasn't saying I want to help people, because that would be too cliche. But that's what every single one of you wrote. And there was a reason you wrote that. You had your own stories. You had family members that had been in the hospital. You knew people that you had seen when you were volunteering in a hospital. You yourself may have had a story of being in the hospital or being seen by a physician. And those stories inspired you to follow a path into medicine. Let's not forget this. Let's not forget that which first drew you to medicine. We want to help people. We want to help people by developing new cures for diseases or improving our understanding of pathophysiology. We want to help them by using our clinical knowledge to diagnose and treat various ailments. We want to help them by providing comfort at a time when they are most vulnerable. This is where the narrative matters. This is where the patient's story matters. There is so much more than the next appointment on your schedule or the next procedure in the OR. I remember working the overnight shift in the Peds ER not too far from here during Hurricane Isabel. A small child was brought into the emergency department by ambulance for a benign rash during the worst of the storm. I was full of moral indignation. How could this mother take their child out into this weather? This is unbelievable. I had so much anger. I went into the room and I was ready to confront her. I said, why would you do this? And she looked at me and she said, I live in a condemned building, And when the walls started shaking, I was afraid they were going to fall on us and kill my daughter. This is the story, right? This is the story. You know, these are the stories that should be moving us. These are the stories that should be influencing how we perceive our patients and how we perceive our career. I promise you that 5 a.m. admission, which is your 5th admission of the night, isn't there to torture you, right? That person is there because they need your help. Just a month or two ago, I was on medicine service. I was on Med ID, and one of the interns presented a patient to me that had been admitted overnight. The patient had had a syncopal episode, and the intern did an excellent job outlining all the clinical data, providing an assessment. She had ruled out all the real badness. You know, the ER had done tests, we had done tests, and said, this is vasovagal syncope, fainting. So I asked, why did he have vasovagal syncope? Well, when people, you know, have emotional distress or are startled, they'll faint. So I said, well, what happened to this gentleman? Why did he faint? Well, he just said he was waiting for a bus when it happened. So where's the story? What prompted this person to faint? So I went to the room with the team. We sat down. I pulled up a chair next to the patient. I said to him, you know, we think you fainted, and this often comes because people have significant stressors in their lives. Is there anything that's stressing you that may have contributed to this? And immediately his eyes filled with water, and he was tearful. He started crying, and he said, I've lost my wife, and I've lost my mother in the last week. That's his story. That story is more important than any lab test, any CT scan, any number of diagnostic studies that we have at our disposal. Today, I urge you to listen to these stories. Let these stories touch you. As an intern, the struggle is daily, and it is very real. Your resilience will be tested. It will be tested by misdirected anger, by bad outcomes, deaths, EMRs, fatigue, burnout, feelings of inadequacy. All of this is true. But there is much more than that. There's so much more that will push you forward, so much more that will inspire you, fill you with joy. You have your friends and family in this room. Let's give them another round of applause to all those folks. They are here to help you. Call them, text them, Instagram them, whatever. Your fellow interns, your residents, your attendings, you're all part of the same team. Everybody is there to be there to help you and help the patients. Seek each other out. Be good to one another. Help each other. Your story is also important. Your story will include the kind gestures of your colleagues, the co-intern who stays late so that you can go home and have dinner with your family. It will include the observant attending who noticed that you were struggling and asked, how can we help you? And most importantly, that story will include the gratitude of the patient who says to you, thank you for listening to me. Thank you for helping me. So I end by saying the two things that I started with, the things that my children told me to tell you. Help people and be good to each other. I have such high hopes for you, class of 2018. I've seen the kindness in your hearts, your passion for social justice, your commitment to scientific achievement, and your excellence in clinical care. You will all represent us very proudly. It has been our privilege to be a small part of your journey. Congratulations.